me Joshua Medasi. Before I make me so you see, when you're careful, now institutions of state. I am into 2 or more JGMs. I'm going to watch the argument. So here they are. So we cannot at a point in time say this and another point in time. Yes, I can say. Yeah. The statistical service for data grab Montana. These politicians almost thrown into the dustbin. You know, but when it suits them, the statistical service is the best. Or more Juma being made that. Quarter. When it suits them, no be a candy who rush Raja. The same thing. I am very hopeful that nobody will come after Shraji. So as I say, I have gone through it myself. And then money beyond my mind, I'm so wow. So as I say, Mesre Bebre. Yensusu and say Enyumekua, Ejina Ghana, Nemu, Edi Juma, Edema Ghana. Nemu Yibetini, Achreya, Junewo, Omunuma, Omoyeno, Esinto, Ebem. Is very, very important. Ebasa, Eboa, Emma, or mine Chechiriano, any or mining Puntuno, any or mining Yini, Yini one. So that's that. That's just by the way, because you can't eat a cake
and have it.
Your cake and have it back at the same time. It's not done anyway. So what I say, Bribia dance, so I did back on Mekars, the Bribia that all for a phone, now wash because. There's similarity between a phone and a nipansa.
Sure.
To one you're careful, but you won't suffer because all we phone. So it's just by the way, but it's very important the levels at which your man yourself a day and you might be SS man and your papa. You know, it's a personal decision that as we count down to elections, Akuma who do I see a man bafum because you will. Or mine bako. The free sabre could never change the ever boako about to be a honmako to a banana. A dear Sesawye. Going to mean cofa party actions with dear Enco. Also, your Kojama, Yebechua. Nano Sako and send me. O call Bia to Oko Tuaba. Or the acid, any sikai, any giant, or the show, or the boar ashow. What do you call the empire? A dear poke trimpokra and the wood trimmer, OD to Sanamon. Obviously, we had the ballot box of Bokakofa. It is Sahani Pano. The IGP Akano says some this are force within the laws of the land neighbor. How many babas? And Mr. Sebi, because of Cadibia say, Mobia and Shrenin Kwa, is answer, Yakotuaba. We've had this experience, my papa. Now I know that the last election, Nipa Maku whether by default or by whatever, is not good. Because election related deaths in Kwani experience here. Mr. Musi, Suya, the any opinion, Padia, and your money be as Suya. And they say from the Electoral Commission to our intelligence agencies and the police, you know, and to the and to us media. Will be very important in times like this. 12 days to elections. Mes reminianum central for the Oberford. Yemu bini ye no ye kasa ye sema ye tro. Ye sema I know she power. I'm wondering whether after elections we can come back and say so was nay about 20 ye di intro craft chain ye proud crowd and ye. These things, it doesn't help a country to heal. So this central for our responsibility is so huge as we are inching closer to 7 December. Mr. Minianum Central for Yenina Yakahobi, the Oboni Central Jumano, and Passe Baby Sumubiano, you raho as I say a hind TPO. Mr. Moa, a hina APO, a hind in ye okofo BSC ho. Na wadi dini pana tema fiti ne surubesi ni form. Debi ada me come say sa akwanya na yenya say yes and throw for the obo for no. Eya akwanya ye gina nyamia na mu hwese enipa dodo na sebe omaka eban na chi no ye betimi akasa atwe omaba eban ni mu enipa dodo na omunya baabi nko suku omunya yaresa bianko omunya adwuma nye omunya adwane pendi omunya nsupanom enipa dodo na no yan yasede ne se betwe omaba ye omatima benya saade yina na kwan be ne be fa so be no ye ne se aban mu nipa bia no a odwuma bi etosin wana montu bi tosin okasa bi tosin no ete se yen yi wasotre na wo ni ba ho so na wo se nipa dodo na no hwe wo se betima bibi ti ye use soafo na soafo abedi akire ye use mensin krache ye use chief executive de bi adameka eye ahonho ade ne mu eye dwuma kase pa na oman ne de ato so enye bra edidi agoro no oman mu nyina se Obi enkotena Lands and Natural Resources as a minister. Hey, and Monyam Shano, and yes, Obi Kotena no Kodia Grana sorry, Debbie. Say Monyam Shano should be reflective in that sector, no. Sure. And your ma, oh yeah, horn may bit me a boa. Am I a natural resources, no? And want me about fast dear more. That's where Rebecca said what an impactor. Generations after generations after generations, no. So impact and still it will be there. Mesre. Central 42 mesre any delbo for mesre mo amadaroma ye brenie because ye brenia bribia ye bre ba ye bre pa ni we can make Ghana stand as one and we can make Ghana sharply divided and bring chaos and war. Mesre minyanum delbo for the Central 4 because basically that's what I want to do. Ko makofa bro hafo mo fa ncheme bono east and hafo ma me no bro hafo kofa bro hafo akowura miamia bi we tifi mantem aba mfini mantem abewura eye asante mantem nkran de ha na yodada na mesre se enkomoni bi a ekoso wo sa miamia hodo no bi wo ha emu orem uti ni wen osi Omanhene Kwabena kan uti ni wen osi Obi Kwabena kan sa nkomo na osi mi Obi we Oman aka no enya nkomo ade asomdwe ba nti mesre mo a Minuanum Central for the Delbo for ye brainy to demonstrate to the world that ampa we criticize within the context of your Juma ye. So what I say Sebi Nanado say and the only education minister a commission an unprecedented schools Ghana 80 at a go
80 schools in
a many obi now is a chisa kata in abeto near a baby a what can be no project akoso ana ana say koso so a dynasty on the year bia na tibia saying then we start criticizing or praising them for whatever they are doing. But Mr. Okofana way you could dine away for time way ni pati control way we will never progress. And my no credit and could jina interest be ourselves no cray no cray say dino say enya efa enya attend any trouble dia to so ne propaganda ade for and be ma dino ne fe no etime free hono ti mesre biem o trust em utimi tra Ghana closer to Kenya. Hey, Ghana in flames as we approach December. What flames? And me come for him match me but mo frem mo amanoni say ye tie mu dia ne yakoma atoyem ba ye ko tie mu nuanum bi dia I just said the answer say bush for in Accra free Ghana and I'm so that way Togo and Benin and as Cote d'Ivoire and as ever. So it is telling you that we cannot be single out the island. We need to be worried that all of us collectively, there was a responsibility. I say we see what ba ho ban. We have say oba no obeko school, obeko asori, obepie, obeko dwom, obeko ne namfo. Enti after we ba ho ban no prese omamunu nyina awofo ahodo nyina suku ahodo nyina na baabi a oba benya akonya averagely enipa na omo no omo adwene ne be ya adwene a positive nti mesre obi central adwuma and then what is so beautiful is that central adwuma no kra no produce engineers lawyers doctors teachers businessmen central adwuma no emo na say e ejira central no it will be common central for no be come because hey say onye ni packet wa hey say onye nti yen na sabi akwogin tetie ni nimdie no aye ni paketo anyina ye momu ni betrasia
na ye kan sem
ni ye kan sem ensem fata ye momu na yakonya ntete papa bi asua dia kwa broso ene sebe lawyer dwuma ba na e ba sentro dwuma nim na wo lawyer muano pa na wo to no na ene de wo no ha ye dia dan twa pie di go fata ene na mra na sebe wadaro magutu yana e wo asem
so be na wo
so intimi sremi nuanom sentrofo ene de obo for me gina for a purpose ko makase nipa nyina say last days are dangerous there be last days enye dangerous because if free break obi nshira wo obi nshira by in so many forms sa break corona ye ko obi nso obeya me ya china to fias FM obi ke kansema ti say electoral commission for akoshi krata parties ni nyina gira ho a omo ye okay now be corner be tie central adwuma no de bi kan fa electoral commission omo sesan krata ni bi akoshe baby de sie na omo de behwe de besi me kwa na commander ba ko ka je Kumasi nyoma na bedu me question 3 pe all representatives omo ho no say na Kwabena na be no be pie ade anu wo Kumasi party bi ebe ka say na name sifo na say na okra no na aba no na kra to bi me say bibia supervisor obia kuta no bibia e kire say da e be break no sa obia de ba na break kama na bibia ko kama say me say perfect so it me say you misreport a lot the misinformation and disinformation
and I've said this before say the truth ne say a back Ghana your electoral processes now in terms of making sure say bibia mu be fine we have probably one of the best in the world though.
We are seeing in
the world.
The checks and balances.
The checks and balances. They are two in processes, electoral processes. In terms of openness, transparency, we are not a perfect country. As far as elections is concerned, we don't have a perfect system. But no other country in the world has anyway. You know, but a bus they are very close to perfect. I think we are up there. We are up there.
I don't know what's our count for us. Adia parties in Asante Mantem, Bono Mantem, Hafu Mantem, Framantem, Infimantem, parties in painful in our Transiaco di Uncomo. Obacona Fino, because the bonus to Bassa, Bibi Wona. So at the because I believe we know the moment we rely on misinformation and disinformation, we are doomed as a country. We are doomed. Timisre Bibre say, Madaro Majina Chat. Now, for a purpose. Number 2, all the major stakeholders, especially our security services. You know.
And when put a misinformation and disinformation, you know, I think you call around the whole of last week, some of the interesting misinformation in the system. I think it was a useful opportunity when you be my mouth for you. Number 1, me say. Obi ka say o mat say duty ane boaye den wo krom ha no because of John Mahama na aton temahabo ama ne namfofo waton amomo be 35 years na sam kofo na abeto temahabo no eno maso duty e de agu nioma so say bam ena ama duty bo akosoro information amanfo de nam in fact obi bebu sai e wo Kumasi I remember
this is dangerous.
Yes.
On we time no.
Yes.
When we bufu no.
Yes. Information and comfort them. Complete misinformation. Number 1. Number 2, the MSIT be only say, oh, now dollar na say akosro ebu cedis no. That's how we ba send $100 cedis. If $100 free am no neba na was san. So we see ka bebre. Unya 1,007 and 1,006. That's how pan saying.
But that's poisonous.
Inti giant DC for netting crime almost got $1 ne boako. So we always say usika bebre one other information in our system. One other information in our system. No. Inti answer na this thing about abatuo no wa obetuama party A no momo de na ye to no on the 7th. On the 7th. Na also abetuama party B momo de mo ntwen on the 8th and I say easy for the new date ever.
No. And it's good that you are bringing
easy for the new date.
No, it's good you are bringing this up. The best
Charlie. And only my neighbor also see how drain here. Apart from traditional radio stations, we say our community center, community announcements omobo information community information maza the misinformation send the general community wa nko ba bia maza ejina community wa de ode ye kwetena so a jai ye tugum say no NCA for kwete wan no makwa check you e obi ankwete he
ba obi
in the one ade we say ye hwe yes radio stations are dawson we say omanfo ne more enlightened which is true utie ordinary Ghanaians and you see say amanfo follow news every day but the misinformation so what system ne mo no ja ano
Obi, that's why you want a jumbie bebrebo patriotic songs ma o man no hu hia Ghana man e wan kasa o man mo man nyina mom yemfa koroye ene biakoye na Ghana e yan kasa ye dia if you start playing and we start singing some of these patriotic songs your radio ne kasa fidia odo nyina so me sure say the voter eligible voter no obey so discerning am be and I'm happy you brought this up because say anyone be ultimate na wa relax kakra because wa relax here e dey remember nipa atnase anwene sa asemwe na odi akoto abontin se meka etia obi ana meka.
And I think this year so we have to call the political parties out or more political jingles no my both audiovisual any audio the enquire about radio so any the about TV that misinformation here too much and the propaganda is just too much.
The political parties?
Yes.
I've not followed it.
And these are officially sanctioned radio and TV art parties ni pushy. The propaganda and misinformation is unbelievable. And this from the political parties.
But we also have a responsibility as media houses that Obi this that time we are.
Yes.
So we said, well, that my programs manager. We also have to up our game. Because when you come, there should be a censorship board that will listen to you all the information the family make but use me as a conduit. Once I'm a tea we could see say so kwade e chese enokre. Once I'm a tea or multimedia kwade me giomudi nti me gidi say enokre. It's high time you should upgrade you.
Sure.
Near catch I said no. And no money be said no why I say Food and Drugs Authority for me to be katabra. I feel me who say san is because if you are saying miss and this information na so mo aye can be kram mo no mo kasa officially as sanction sa de no ma yensu agya to
it's true. I think you have a point.
So
collective
responsibility. It may say you know Obi yes the next media okay so the war back yempa na kana no so akwa tu on film baby na dia ehun hia no they will lose focus because that's the crown. The crown is that onyame be adom by the 9th of December or 10th of December no bibia be kokama ama asumdwe ebe to us na Ghana edi nkunim na ya to ya brabo so if we say upeo ufa elections about to as a back group be more to Ghana ha eduju no ma be it slow down investors na kakra because obi a hwe gauge a say e coin and say coin e ma wo kra no koto ade and now invest on bi no o sheda because say o monitor system no e hwe see the number be e ma nkomodie ma business ma no ma bebre eti ba form kakra it mess political parties no say ye betina na yanka say ye kai asem say ye ma ye ho kwan e ma the issues about mis and disinformation adwuma momwae na monso obeye radio jingle or TV ad na wode say ana na no dakura na ana you know kan basa na waja ho na woko enye papa e basa obi e monso so no we are not seeing it now but ye dua baby amfie be du nwotwe ni na sefo achi no say aduaba no be fefe it is like bibi ba outright they say you can't review but ye be so ateni ba manyo seminum. That's where sometimes I have a pain that our gatekeepers, i.e. the Christian Council, National Media Commission, the Pentecostal Councils, Catholic Conference and all the Muslim societies, the Gibba and all those people responsible associations, we couldn't just stand up to say that we will not agree to this. That's why yegusuka galamsiasa because some bar they say yeah emo mamuni nyanya mfaso de no we don't do it eti afa baby awo afa aduane edi afa kwan afa so siesie ho afa You know, credi ato from war, enyuma hodom, and then almost everywhere you go, it is like a responsibility. Say, oko pay juma oh baby, and so tia bribe and said when you juma, oko pay contract baby, and so tia bribe, and it is so normal that you can openly, yeah, when Jemu dia, and yeah, also I share from who Jemu so within a twinkle of an eye, they be at the FCA. Can we survive with this principle? Can we survive? Where in our books and such principle no? Abua at me, apply ma okrobi at me tumpong. So it's not just going to vote; it is voting to see that and you may be a me one kasa utie uye no. As I say, one so do shame say me jai.
Yes.
Because a driver sebi we na kwan fin lo do biribiada. O say open change or continuation. Not still the change has not affected you, and you don't even understand why you want to continue or to change. You don't understand because baby I say for baby say driver ni and net driver ni bronye ba driver ni that's it's a security or person call 5 times Accra Kumasi within a day. Why exhausted? There are no measures by the station officers, and they be at the Mekaji prior to. It's a shame. They've been in existence for years. They are not in full control over our union. Most of these unions and associations, all they know is to abuse government in power whenever they feel that if I say straight line and a regulated idea system. It's sad.
It's true.
It's sad. Your cross agne, your public and civil servant, no. They have not sat down. And they have not been very efficient and reliable in dealing with government in terms of welfare and so forth. It's what they resort to is last minute strike, demonstration strike. So election year be a demonstration strike, election demonstration. Now my year yes so who show minor ye ni quantum pombi and nam so akase ni so ade huni ye kwa ye be kwa kokoko ye ni bi. It will be a ted as abrawa no ama ne kraso. Mesre. And again, my point number 2, and I'm saying,
yes,
you can't send your phone or mine phone. Yeah, but one now, mine more Makwenya say they should superintend over these elections and over Ghana for us, especially the Electoral Commission. They don't have a choice than to fulfill their mandate and that they should organize a free, fair, transparent elections.
Sure.
That is all they need to achieve.
Sure.
It is true they are unable to satisfy everybody, but no crap said. So we no money only you down fire. Obi all time or crowd. Oboza we wadaroma. We do kasakra because kwa mfasa omo to about we die bibia mu down kama. Ti mesre bibiri say Electoral Commission I have 100% interest in that, and I trust them that they will do and they will deliver.
Yeah.
But
I think to their credit, no, so far,
I don't see the problem.
So far, I think
in fact, about NDC on this matter of try say about register and it's
IPAC meeting.
They've lived up to expectation. In the Electoral Commission, say we pay you. Especially the one constituency one, that's the presidential election. Because many obedient or Mansour Musi as so I said, but the obiani dear, I person money cool, na sebi. Muye nipa de muye from man sanko kinkai abano and the one jebiantu na where I say na 13,033 in fact it will not be in good taste for us as a country and as a people. It doesn't matter genuine mistake so as I said we are very careful, diligent and meticulous in this particular election.
Meticulous,
yes,
very, very important.
So as I say because we me kind of cry natural say me lose cry na udi kane 2 figures we bana ayen style be sign over yeah I don't know we meanwhile reps
sure
but I say no no the sure
and I think graphics guys and so on the EC graphics be out.
Yeah.
They should make sure some mistakes be at the way any mistake have any year and the issue. I think
they see more reps or it could be genuine mistake but the outside world it will be difficult for us to
misrepresentation all over the place. Yeah.
Because as someone the environment they are operating within, we agree that they are an institution errors there. It be what I say negligible. They buy negligible. Yeah. So I just they buy throw 2 now throw I don't know if you want 5 Tina because they say clearly yeah. Oh then they a bit change for about throw 54 now 92
That's
what I say. Now you who say kwan Debbie with the wadaroma. Ti you almost for a good reason. They should live up to
so far they've done well.
Yes,
and they should finish
hard.
I mean 2 weeks
they should live
go.
They tell the world that they are capable of managing the electoral affairs of this country. They are taught to be. And I just love the IGP for its forthrightness that the 3-tier approach, Wama warning.
Yeah.
Wakacho say ubi be skirmishes kakrebi or the BFM or more final warning and say they are fully prepared. Theo, fully prepared.
Yeah.
That anybody who goes contrary to the set rules,
Omunu be
called into the they also we a Jimai. Opa so say, oh, they will know your Kujia mine. Into the Yakan now, my money in Aja too. Ne post for Cocobo, Mudiabe boy in Ano. Oh, they also still. Oh, they are a champion. What go and try. What try we are. Don't be on the honor and you must say because Papa Penimuna Casabecase within the laws of this land, they will operate and use that force. Force in the non describe no number describe force. And then they come and we musha hodwa
helicopters
and then nama you can run but you cannot hide. So tie you ubetimi to me can't want to trade sa ba untimi nyira free pose for any so mesrew a pose for yesre mo so mo nkofo ni bi omo ho ahomte ko hwe abato so na bibia nko pepepe se Kwabena Asante approach you say na me inkiri kwa me hu so ye na ye opanimu no adwuma you opanimu wo a commission no edna be gina ho a oye solely responsible parties no and then be fa adwene when there are crisis or there's a crisis omni nyina be fa adwene na ka say oh we ni din no ya hwe we dabi we dey then no panimu no ne party ahia wodom no e be tia tum answer anya wo
police ni
na wo koka che say ka che munti.
It is a party be money polling agent now Oma police will be omonye na
Debbie yankoya sa no man wo Debbie yankoya sa no man wo
na say MPP di omo de eba na oje na say NDC do ba na oje bia what's wrong with
Debbie
Debbie
me nya sure say police service no omonye is provision for that. It's like the electoral commission omo for standby generators and a plant
maybe na police we aduane ni
me yasem wo de gina ho na buhwe wo de as a supervise. It's better to get out of these people's food or water. It's better to get out of it because we condom NDC ni
onyina ho munhwe
me say we condom NDC ni issue no so them the MPP ni beka we ko di MPP ni aduane no so them the NDC ni beka. These are the two major political parties omo ha adwene change bia ade no enye bibia nke betimi atwe man so ache we si ni ruama na oye fa di MPP ni issue no me na IK so polling center
in the men you be
police for
men you be aduane.
All policemen going to man our polling centers should be well equipped in some of these basics. So basics. Police for canteen all over. Mubetimi dey agu mukasa kesiye mu station to station time to time na mo dey chop. Yes sir, obi anfa na yi the food flags in the issue. E masan bia me fa so kramba. E masan bia. It's like the electoral commission. Me assure say me be collect ni na no. Plant in siwa standby generator. It's important. Say plant in siwa standby generator. And I mean for quickly. Some of the independent candidates say as we speak now parliamentary candidates omunya omo register.
Yeah, omo register. So I think it's a very important.
The electoral commission for mumra bontina we any issue bia by hard because me see a kind be.
Yes.
Me independent.
Yes.
It had into the basin no. Me no matro krata abrem say me sanka register be still more family. Don't give room for even the least of suspicion.
Sure.
Don't give room.
Sure.
So I said, don't give room for the least of suspicion. Yeah, no. I who say opposite for in charge. Opposite for no so catch they say unless there's an extreme emergency. Unless that is a super emergency that I feel abro almost. That is where they will call in other forces to come. In IE here in the crown, they were specific.
Military.
The military.
Yeah, but also the National Elections Task Force. The Elections Task Force. The police only a task force.
Okay.
No? But all the other security agencies are part of it. And then our police station be a prisons officer. And immigration. And our customs, and I say fire service, and I say Ghana police service. But I be with armed forces for no, and our minimum how deployment. But they are all part of the national elections.
I'm sure they've worked out how they are going to operate.
Sure,
they are very important.
Sure.
Me, electoral commission for Mosenti, meaning say more over 200,000 for this day.
Sure.
Now, Mama, and she sharing them running munya din say. Kwabena Asante Kotena Agona West we know Agona East na say on na ye electoral commission for more rep.
Yes.
Ye mpese be witness obitimi the rule at all. No what presidential candidate BTF free polling ni so. No what the TNF yo. Eju beba no that presidential candidate no.
O hwehwe
na hu. Eji da say obejai to and abeto.
Yeah.
Bisa ebi also paper no you don't know how it sneaked in. Mama avoid all these things.
A peaceful and a smooth election. No nipa oberi no. We share oberi.
Na masre. Political parties no. They be other who deceive we power. These matters about vigilantism no say for. Now that many we say the US is telling us that the embassy here as in US because that's the embassy and their rep.
Sure.
That all of us should go and sign the peace pact. I was amazed. US can't do the medical because one concern that's all we need. Why should we always be fed with what is the real thing to be done? Why should it be so? Why should it be so?
I get you.
So Mr. Musa yes sir ebeboa me enu mienu nyina no amyatimi akọ afi ni kwakwa no citizens responsibility offer new road ya o ya wa Kumasi amasama hono
foforo no mo 10 lane there
I don't say sro no
yes
MP no every cars was over the MP
yeah how your cars MPP candidates no
or then e ko sense ro no on omo twitwa ni nyina oba Accra girls in my jo mama ne ECC ne za ne ayi ne kama ne omo minimbro mo o ti so de bo atwitwi bebe 20 so oko Gampa Junction now bo ni mabesiako Christian Village no before the late Professor Mills na so na okoyi Nigeria ni aso bi o mre
enye TB Joshua
back Nigeria ni bi church bi o mre fra aso
redeemed and I said the winners.
The junction before Hodom.
Okay.
Lydia last billboard is almost the blade, almost turn around, almost internet for and I was so a junction refi. Dumelo
John Dumelo.
Or my you no should tin in why are we doing this? So if you are caught in this instance, now you process now for death, yes, baby, 6 months.
Koya bone papa bi ne mfa wontuma. Wa ko twa obi tie fili.
You cannot understand the kind of breed as a people. Now fe obi ni pakuo ba ko omunya. But for them maybe get one to today. Our spiritual leaders, the Muslims, our traditional religion, and then the Asofo from all manner A to Z. Obi in the midst of omo weakness, they have stood their grounds.
Yes.
To continue to intercede.
Yes.
For this country. So from the chief imam down to the last person in the Muslimic ladder, everybody should be appreciated. By African traditional religion and so on. From the main I can't say chief priest now. Basically the last person. Omoya Diabros. Ura Christosuma from our Archbishop. Papa Duncan Williams.
For charismatic churches.
Charismatic Pentecostal Roman Catholic
Orthodox churches.
No. The Debia Dana Monfanchem. Those who are out there now quickly, Anyani Boduni, a
jump here.
So for Yamiche, me was saying the me call for ya Debia Dana saying Tafo, come a same.
Yes.
So for a
Brian.
Brian Musso, Brian Musso,
Brian in India,
I'm watching for Dr. Mark. I'm watching Dr. Brenner, I'm watching, and Samson, I'm watching, and almost our back on one of the sprinters or mechanics. Yeah, Miss Mechanic. And then the same. Pastor Steve, and Pastor Stanley. Omonina, Otabe, Omoni, Omoma Kenina, Omaka, a oil domi, Major, yes, Apostle General, and a Dio Jolu, Archbishop,
Jolu, friend, Ajana Sari.
Omonina, so yes, those are readily names that are coming
more because this man also has a really big church. Prophet Sarkodie.
Prophet Dowenya. It's a whole city. It's a whole city. It's a whole city.
Fantastic.
It's a whole city. Yeah, and India Fonia, Ahobrasia Fonia, no Quafua, Omusu Dimo, mine pao. It will get me JJ.
Maman, okay, in the last year, December, was a parliament a year Carol's night. By your moton suffrage of opinion, no MPs, no, and your more treasure on Akasa. Last December, Apostle Eric Kwabena Asante. But and I stumbled upon a video and he had some very interesting point for our members of parliament.
All of us who desire to have good name, you need to serve humanity. Now, the suggestion that I'm going to offer is this: live and work for the good of people. Live and work for the good of people. Maybe I should turn here and look at the face of my parliamentarians. You are making democracy too expensive. Yeah. The monetization of what we call democracy is dangerous. Soon, we are not going to have good leaders because we will need people who have cash, and it doesn't matter where they got the money from. They will win the constituency election. Now, this thing is dangerous. If we think that we cannot follow this American democracy, please let us stop it. Let us design something that will help this nation. It is dangerous. And I'm even afraid of the future. I'm afraid of the future. How can you deceive people just by buying cutlass for them? And you pride yourself in it. I pray that God will save this land. God will save this land. Because many of us are poor. Instead of investing into them, you deceive them with lanterns and cutlasses. May God have mercy upon us. See, when you do this, the day you are no longer the constituency leader, nobody cares about you. Now we should all critically examine the cause we live for and the price we are willing to pay to achieve it. Now, why are you in politics? Why are you a pastor? Why are you a teacher? Why are you a lawyer? Why are you a chief? What is your motivation? Is it money? Is it power? Is it fame? I'll take my last test and then I'll call it a day. Esther chapter 10. I'll read verse 3.
Asempa FM.
Some very, very interesting points there from the chairman of the Church of Pentecost. I mean, and I think for me take out the why statement for doing what we do. Why are you a chief? A question how you're here was why are you a politician? Why are you a journalist? Why are you a lawyer? Why are you an engineer? So when to me and this question no one a very strong why statement obe want to chede into ade na wo de aton so say wo ye no because ukọ politics mu sentine pa anything and no na say we need strong why statement instead of investing in people to ensure so you build generational wealth for people no obeto sekan now what to lantern now the dad and conform my Wellington boot no just for them to vote it be quite me matches any other and I think that's the thrust of his statement. Why are you a politician? Why are you a politician? Ultimately answers our question every morning. You will not go out there na say contract be abeto wenima on hwensna one leader many J na say mo kan ho ne say o ka che ni minister say wo de picture bi be wo office amem fa no president picture mo office fa wo yere ene wo ma picture fa bo office frame ne camera ne mo office say wo be sign agreement bi am wani so na hwa picture no ansa na wa sign but they be as a president the picture the boy office o me party ni in the end but when you think about how mommy and son future you take decisions
but haven't we sat here said
yes.
Ghana we should really look and we think
yes.
on these matters.
Yes.
These presidents are on picture.
And I think Apostle Eric Amicha makes a very good point. Politicians,
the meeting they will be mirror who. Yeah. Mirror who say. San your more brubu swina. A coffin and African a costrum.
Monetization a costrum more. And he makes the point say and take it time and obia nyeska.
Ujidi say nipa nimdienti omo commercial.
No, that why statement anyhow. And so why are you a politician? It's a critical question. What's the answer?
Yeah. Sometimes being we trying to be very patriotic, going to queue crowd to vote in Ghana.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Because you are going to create jobs for people. Instead of they using that job now we create to help you, anyhow into the why statement.
I'm not okay because and you more kind of last year Brunya. It's a senka afis here measure one. Even say
make it progress.
Papa Bekai before I basically some any crazy any chine any more any sign of money oh we dear I feed it with the FM but Africana I graph the normal height as a graph a trampo crowd more is it not dear name the crowd there if you will be about the better multimedia that's how dangerous on daily basis our politics is becoming and back it's not the American frontiers me see also so akron for any contempo for so anyone na omuni nimdie ni anisade una nimdie nyesuku nko awako you know humility and respect to you obi akozuku eko we are siba yina sebe so odi nkomo ana otu anamo ana oya ade bia ohunu se esin tokese pa ewom no abusa wo say na we sebe na daroma okotena suku dem ginimdie se ode beboa ana ode beyede a lot of people are more akwenya and people don't even understand that it's like playing for the Black Stars and you're born on him bolo because obi you can see nipa and 10 JC organ had a number trials for 10 JC to fit the Black Star
nipa be
brave doc Christ say ubon say it's like it's bigger than you make the best out of the little time opportunity there for people to remember that senka obi pa na wa hadia enti the sopenya kano it should not be the normal conversation last year assembly and then your boy there's no change but it's getting worse. Are we not worried as a country? Are we not worried as a people? Is it not shameful as politicians? Worst parliament that we've ever experienced in this country, where politicians parliamentarians you can't say a blade in that for a parliament house, but boxing. Why? Now, such an unruly characters and attitudes, where parliamentarians they lie more than anything in this country. That is how our parliament is becoming now.
Yeah.
Serving not the interest of but serving some interest that is way above what we are looking for. We should be sad because if we continue to queue and vote, and this is how, especially this parliament, behave.
Yes.
Why do we have to go and vote such people? That's why my culture said, don't just go to vote. Destiny voting.
Yes.
Indigenous a member of parliament, NDC, MPP, or MPP, or NDC, Debbie. It is sometimes me should say, young to Mercy Cratch for no young to
Omoswaba. It should have happened.
Yes, sometimes me should say young to Omoswaba. Now, I won't tell you no political people, analysts, because oh man, you need to the baby, you need to cry. I see.
You know, president, cry.
Yes,
the number one gentleman in the land cry.
So what I say?
Now, DC,
Miss. As I say, will be a recite.
But okay, about to impona, BB a drop is sometimes no man project politicians a year. Well, edema or Mavenu say in Ghana, because we run a political economy, even decision to put project in area A or area B, are part of the consideration, the political consideration. Because I mean, say
it has always been,
of course. But do they really work sometimes? And maybe ask me because of rounds I and saya kakrano, oman. Uko Kumasi, one of the major projects in Kumasi, KJT market, I ask myself, say, what's an announce a show from KJT market? Nedu Mibusa man say, and these are market women they get before just say, you start to say, yeah, Casano. And now, Omunina free from Munioma on the head. On the watch video, who say, almost show more a Jom Nioma Nediaba. And it will be Busa say, the market ya mutimi. And yet John Mahama is see mamma. Almost say, aye. And the John Mahama no see market. And it's a very beautiful market. Remoa. Yes, even though I'm not too comfortable with how the market has been managed in terms of maintenance. And I'm a catcher Dominic say, free main entrance from zoo or entrance, Now fast here Ghana the maintenance with a problem. But no crown another conversation I'm about so. But I'm able to say, and that John Mahama na. And now once you call around your question back up say Obertuaba or say I Nioma be na obejina so atoaba. No man for na aka won asem. But obi en ho obeka say market 20. Ebia metro ma asumesi ana obi. Nti me bu so am say market here John Mahama dey see ma. Mama say I market them I need a dada.
Can you imagine?
Market ne ma ye di dada. And I'm like, really? Enti I am trying to maybe I was here research
food bridge ne ma and
yeah, try a dada. Indi I was here research be etimi who say if there is a nexus between project I echo baby any amount for electoral decisions and say I mean you did not find one person or Babeka say okay maybe a metro ma asumesi because market where siama emu efe
and another aspect of it is that now in Ashanti regional
of course
so regional voter regional na market ni bisi one ma ahohoa voter region for Edinburgh market
because and the NDC
yes and the NDC no wabisi clearly and now we see here a national orientation where we will preach to ourselves that if it is under NDC or MPP or CPP or Cheddar or Alan Chemantin or Moye, something innovative, something that is a national impact. We cannot overlook these things because of our political interests. If we don't get that orientation, MPP Beba, NDC Beko, NDC Beba, MPP Beko, Cheddar Beba, Alan Chemati Beba, there should be a psyche that Ghana should move. Ye jide John Mahama abaya tum de. Nemo Johnny asks for more. Yeah, dream no. Ebi kura na esen ko de fan kura no. Ebo hama ebi no say you cannot say the entire project no nyina no. Now do dwa da. Do dwa wa tete pacha no. And no the best situation for you. If he had also overlooked it, by nanka me na mfa trotro kwa to so. Before trotro wa to so go kije no. Now do on ma as a jam rock. Pickpocketers ni sa no to car pe kwa pie kro obi bosso sa. What I identified there was that we should find a better way to ease traffic because se u ramuna se u pia nyame amema be di be 3 hours even Christmas be kwa be worse. So sometimes when we are planning the me call ya me hu car park is an issue. Exiting is an issue.
And not going to maybe say those other issues, near issues. I may catch Dominic say, a idea will see the home. Me the maintenance and a car park. Well, I've heard the Ashanti Regional Minister speak about that on so many occasions. But answering your baby on amount for voting decisions.
You speak about that on so many occasions, will be the point is that what have you done to help the situation? When you have power, complaining like me in the MO, the NDC can sit there and tout that they did this. Did they do it? Yes, they did.
Are there issues? Yes,
there
are issues.
So
that's
how are you solving? That's it.
Yeah, I get you. But I make a say way. The other thing is so say when politicians and so are citing project because Oman, I got the feeling say maybe it was a want for marketing but not a need.
Oh, I see. That's how you feel.
That's my feeling. Because unim and America say there were close to 50 ejomfo nebeka say man mema. No, not a single person a boss say my voting decision will be based on this marketer yenya. I don't know based on that no would it still be okay for the NDC to continuously mention the fact of Asante Regional market
very okay.
Whether that will sink and influence voting decisions, that's the point.
Very okay because
let
me tell you why. Now sir, I can easily point to Seria, I can point to Afei, I can point to a KJT market. No. As to whether a plus or minus there,
sure.
That's the essence of the government.
Sure.
So I say so won't necessarily offer kwanya or the winning. Because this same cake chapel, Mosana, a Yaba MPP, MPC Soba, in fact, Coco Fu million, Yimubina, and a Kojina Bina. I don't care. Said the more claim say you have done the Accra, Amasama, mobile effective changes on it. Motorway, Mona, Mosimo expansion, say the more cunning in Ano. Obi lay a certain foundation for you to complete. Into the best that Ghanaians know is that UGMC and UGMC. No correct partner say face because of under a year John Mahama at
Mills Mahama.
Yes. There was a setup like that. No credit this will be able to say
second phase
will be a buying out tissues so about completely and you can't take the shine.
That truth
you can't take it away. You can't.
I think the consensus say yes, because the NDC did that market. No, they have to tout it, say part of the achievement. As to say, because clearly from what I witnessed, as a man for have other considerations that would influence their voting, at least market women.
Because of the dynamics here, they say.
Well, almost a direct beneficiary.
Well, the institutions only say a Bribian who anytime make us say about you know more calculating more pose as if was say
Oko former
in a way because about to no every about tour comes with its uniqueness.
So no two elections are the same.
Every about to be a dance. It's men nada home for some ne quackatre for near anyone on what form they say. Make Kwabena Asante me ye papa che obi a memo person de mama. If we say Ojai was yamamo, me buy a dranko. Baby a scene to Odranum say fire service will be na kwenya bantamaba, meba baby or car park and a PPG, meba baby or more shekura too much. May I add no money me we are. Nyoma media system ministry ade won ebi ni obi so about say now you mean me na mabe dwa amount Mejitum se Sintono, a Hodie, Bank a yet chance, say, Brana Kwabena Asante, Okosuku, Matalis Dea, now Oba Atonso Aguka, a state, Oba State of Kilita, and before Atonso Aguka. So that's how we need to communicate. By your communication, Obi, Akoya Mpocha, Akoya 10 years. That's the
10 and I am more.
That's the challenge.
And too aggressive.
That's the challenge.
I mean, it's
that's the challenge. Because yeah, no cry at Yan, both friends in both political parties, and I never acquired sign your Ghana for. They be that you distort to MS representative because unim a crobia a hutre any here a doku nipa do na. Majority of the people have nothing to do but to do gossiping, blackmailing, character assassination for bread and butter.
Yes.
So only a politician out in Ghana one, you should be worried that if a lot of people are falling under a certain line, na bibia da omo so ano pa no na nipa to something or the office all your sufo we are deteriorating as a people and as a country. Ahokyere ehia e ma loyalty kofom e ma nokredi e hwan ba fom e ma gidie e ye akoto ba bi kura every say onipa no sori a de nim kura no obeba be kan fa Kwabena Asante because wakohia Kofi Job na Ibrahim edi de nim no wakohia Kennedy Japan obeba be kan enye no kure because enye sa no person go here but essence o pe bibia dinti no that is how a lot of people in this country are living, misrepresenting people, falsehood in chatuso adansi krumu. And that one apart from see a minor and your personal life the war be unto you well nama odi ankofo na odi say obetutu nkofo ntem enye no kura so kontompo sem kwa na odi nam wabraba obonu eno so ekoso ye asudie ma ensori no ene oman no mpanyimfo say yesere mo munti ase se mo ba se mo baji ye nkwa muntimi nji ye nyina nkwa ba ye aha emu be duosia bi de aduonum num bi de mo yire mo ho na muntimi ye mfiri that poverty line mo ye mfiri mo bia nkasa it cannot be done. It has been done by other countries. Mo bia nkasa it cannot be done. Go and listen to the testimony from Yenyan Momoko Azerbaijan. E krono how mo si achichire no ene emu nipa no emfasode bi o mo nya free e ya ban no
direct.
Why?
And I think all come in fasode no. One of the things I also realized, at least, and I'll still stay ewo Kumase KJT market. Oman se ofa nipa 50 nebe kasaya emube 48 SIT free senior high school as major consideration in how they would vote. And I was like, then really, what is it? Is it say these are purely MPP for and on my buying policy and on person more touting and now say this is what the people down there feel say way and they impact me directly in the be influencing my decision in the next election because free SHS was a massive thing. Massive
if you want to be very truthful to yourself, Addition and a lot of testimonies about it.
Yes,
I don't want to go too deep because of the politics attached to it.
Sure,
but education there will be, especially when illegal mining is fading out our cocoa farms and all other things and the cocoa. No,
and don't never went into and
yes. Now the Ben see say, "Obi ofri mi fie." Ebetimi akọ adisco and obeko mfante man and mfante pim and obeko what trusted them that access that opportunity was not easy. It how the men come obi and confirm ko na manage
but the reality is that it is impactful.
Obi no mamu nyina ni tia e wa adisua ni nimdie mu a woni bisu aso de bre enne Ghana fo nkwada ne ko amanone ekosi akan edi nkunim. We are building on something and then science and math quiz utio school na utio no on a certain akukudu bi ni ahotoso bi say ja nkola mo be mo ye sharp because I see say we are saying kwada no obi na ka China for kwada e hihye watch no and the calculator no na nkola no de mo tia no mo check lotto forecasters. There's a big difference. For how long can you be a lotto forecaster? But for how long? If you a lawyer you walk out of this building no humility today dear partner just say so sabi onyame amfrewa dey just say ehia ne age wan hunu so hwe omamuni nyina betimi oman ne hye betimi aboa but a lot also depends on you as an individual. Yama all the opportunities and privileges are because them doctors are here omo them central for here your teacher for here omo your politicians are ayebubru brani nyina you ne say unya akwanya na so utimi edi ya ese se ututu anam nsi ye na udwene say udis bibi beden ebesie for that chinti. A lot of the people today they think that what they are getting today is so small there's absolutely no need for them to even try to invest. No, then I will take it to her.
Want to me invest? Want to me? What you can say? Now, what you can say now? And I bet my show. And over the deep picture. It is our desires also in this life.
Yes. By virtue of social media influence, by virtue of friends, by virtue of how we have allowed this Ghana space to be rolling. No, Akola Kitikiti of 17 years wants to work, get this thing that you are holding. No. What do you mean how you are surviving? Akola kiti dream and dream big. Yeah. Nobody challenges you. But at age 18, you want to do Kanana all means to go and buy a Trasaco. Now also despite no or shall say within just 2 weeks or shall say well maybe no Tesla now then officer also
Obi can I watched the video and then the panic.
Can you imagine?
If you want to buy something, don't buy what you can pay for. Buy what you can afford. Two different
affordability.
Things.
What you can pay for the me kuni pedwe nyina.
Say na dey. Ubetimi a clear bank account nyina dey.
Ebetimi kuni pedwe nyina.
But it is not something you can afford.
Obi sebi no 18. Wadaroma sebi. Sebi eno dey. Wadaroma. And that's what a lot of people are practicing.
Yes. They buy what they can pay for, not what you can afford. At any time I will to bibia who hears our clear account money na dia kotono. Yes, you can pay for, but can you afford? Because you see our account is zero. What it means that you cannot afford it, but you can pay for it.
When I was working, now me call Kenya Japan who said me used to BMW. Our friend was that Kwabena, Debbie. I feel now wash a grassy. These cars no. Omema wahala sama usika kakra bina wenya no.
Yes.
Wasobeshi go and start again. Look for a small car be an Toyota Buick today. Yeah, I'm kunya Golf 2. Sabre no. And I'm the koshe abrabonasi. And I make kono kakra. Na ne man for no wakoto no 7 series BMW. Onye djube otifi. Oh between for say 7 series na wakoto na curtains zoom na telephone no. Ono nko park isi baby. No nko back nko start no for the aka no enya adapt
enyo
na open anka usually. So if we don't understand these stages in life, and then we will continue to blame government after government because John Dramani Mahama, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, Alan Kojo Chemantin, Chada, and the rest, they will give you the platform. But I don't think that they can solve
all your problems for you. They cannot. Some few messages now for you wrap it up. Ekosi saying, we say Obi, the people you spoke to at KJT market are MPP people. They will not appreciate the market. It still doesn't take away the fact that government must bring physical development to people. It is the same way people will also not look at the physical development of the NPP to vote, especially now that they are commissioning project where Eric Ewuzi Arthur. Eric, thank you. This one says, Obi, good afternoon. Ghanaians are witnessing an unprecedented campaign of lies in Ghana's history. The volume of lies coming from, honestly, the MPP has gone beyond every limit of decency in a democracy. After failing to lead and govern the country decently, bringing us untold hardship, corruption, and poor development, they believe they can convince you that reality differs from what you know and experience. They've tried to make us believe day is night and night is day. Alfred Kojo Traders, and he says people should go out and vote. Yes, Alfred Kojo Traders. Alfred did that.
A long guy.
Sure. We say, Obi, good day. Did I hear Vice President Bawumia saying, and I quote, "Make no mistake, we are winning this election." The mantra is laughable. Please remind Bawumia that talk is cheap, and if he cannot see he is going into a position that is unfortunate. Let him know that Ghanaians will not vote for an economic wizard and messiah who took our cedi to dollar from 4.2 to 16.5 cedis. Inflation from 15.4 to 22.1 as we speak. Debt to GDP from 56 to 70.4%. Credit rating B- to junk status. And our Kwame Nkrumah's public debt from 120 to 742 billion. That's from Paul De Suso. Paul.
Obeba.
Yes. Obaba Betuaba.
Obaba Betuaba. I think a week before. Or
okay. Paul Oba no me ato. But statistics the data na wabobo no. Ukwa Ghana hamfa na bia. Omo no mfa sa nneoma we munya adwuma. It doesn't inform amount of voting.
And that because on the US and way just ready to about Paul who be dwiru.
Nneoma ko for the to aba no. Enye sa nneoma we na because you call Isikado Keten. Kojo Chrome market and ma be 81-year-old. Ono so ton ntoma. And I'm saying, Montoman, they say, yeah, Mofa Flaman and Neba no say, I, and I'm saying, eh, it's the mono, seed in the dollar idea, ya sema, or say, oh, and ya send me a man point on into Name Bay. Sure. Oh, dear, unim Ghana, and your uncle for the trouble. Sure, how there was that? Oh, God. Wait, sir, Obi. What makes the port concession a false communication? Respectfully, if you have any contrary evidence, please share with your listeners. I didn't say port concession are false. When you say because of port concession and duties akosra, that's the linkage. Oh, so because of the concession arrangement now, ubi now for one to duties. And that's the report I make us know you're false. Kojo, I hope you get the distinction now. Not etimi abua. Obi, please, when you're going to mention Christ Apostolic, when are you going to mention Christ Apostolic Church in one of your topics? Don't forget, CAC is the mother of Pentecostal churches in Ghana.
CAC, hold on,
Ewa Ebenezer East Legon.
This year, no, I'm not.
Yes. Yeah. But I was there in the latter days, not saying it could be natural, but it's also a very fantastic church. That's a Christ Apostolic Church. Omo new chairman, no, a lawyer, solid man of God. Yeah, Christ Apostolic Church.
Calm people.
Yeah, omunya very calm.
Focus on church development.
So abba.
And I can they are always focused on church development and winning souls.
Yeah.
And so do no more encourage you or more members.
It's a church with so much potential. That's it.
Yeah.
For some time now, they should step out there. We should feel the CAC we used to know. I think in recent times, Apostolic Church Ghana, new chairman or minimum somebody any president too has been doing some good stuff. The church is beginning to step out there. Sorry, now canon. So yes, we have to possess the nation.
What you Apalu vice presidential?
Apalu, you make it proud. Oh God. Ekosi says the higher Sempara 94.7 FM. Oman, mamin go through the me promise here if one quickly. Nafe yemfa and sorry. The your friend is saying the Shraj report on Honorable Samuel Okudje to a Blakwa petition, Efa National Cathedral, and Sofo Victor Kusi-Boateng Monsen Seminole Ebabeye Bebre. He raised allegations of procurement breaches, double identity on the part of Auntie a 164-paged report, 164 in a page a reporter a waye papa and omu take time on all the reliefs and all person shraj ehwehwe omu take time e go through ni nyina one after the. I think one of the most controversial issues now on the double identity in the shraj report now page 140. Omoka, whether or not Victor Kusi-Boateng, aka Kwabena Asante, holds two different passports, each bearing one of his two names with different date of birth on each document. Was a major issue. And sana the issue of procurement breaches any recommendation Shraj and Shraj has even referred some of the board of directors, and as a board of directors maybe say special prosecutor intake issue ne up na onye invest, but on the issue of double identity Shraj ka say the complainant alleged in the complaint that the fourth respondent holds two different passports under his two names, i.e. Victor Kusi Boateng and Kwabena Asante. He stated thus, it was also later revealed that fourth respondent holds two different passports, each bearing one of his two names, with different dates of birth on each document, unquote. To buttress his point, the complainant attached copies of the fourth respondent's passport bearing the name Kwabena Asante, but failed to attach the one bearing the name Victor Kusi Boateng. When requested by the commission to produce the passport bearing the Victor Kusi Boateng name, the respondent, by a letter dated 9th March 2023, doubled down on his earlier assertion and responded thus, quote, on the request for fourth respondent Victor Kusi Boateng passport, I have compelling cause to believe that he possesses another passport in his Victor Kusi Boateng identity, similar to how he successfully obtained a passport in his Kwabena Asante identity. So far, I have secured his Kwabena Asante passport, including a diplomatic passport, which I duly attached in my January 16th petition. The search, however, continues for his Victor Kusi Boateng passport, unquote. The fourth respondent, on the other hand, maintained that he does not possess two passports under his two names. In his 25th January 2023 comment to the commission, it was stated, quote, the petitioner in paragraph 27 of his petition has alluded to the fact that the fourth respondent has, quote, two different passports, each bearing one of his two names with different dates of birth on each document. The fourth respondent denies this assertion. He has never held a passport under the name Victor Kusi Boateng, unquote. To effectively resolve this issue, the commission, by a letter dated 10th July 2023, requested information on passport under the names Reverend Victor Kusi Boateng and Kwabena Asante from the Passport Office of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration. On 14th day of July 2023, the Passport Office, which is the body responsible for the issuance of passport and other travel documents in Ghana, per Exhibit 37, after stipulating the various times that the fourth respondent in the name of Kwabena Asante was issued with ordinary and diplomatic passport from 2016 through to 2021, indicated that, quote, there is no Victor Kusi Boateng in the passport database, unquote. The data provided the commission shows that the fourth respondent currently holds one non-extant passport, or the passport number, issued on 27th October 2021 and set to expire on 26th October 2031, and one diplomatic passport number issued on 25th November 2021, expiring on 24th November 2025. Two ordinary passports earlier issued to him have since expired. Based on the evidence before it, the commission finds that, contrary to the complainant's allegation that the fourth respondent Victor Kusi Boateng, aka Kwabena Asante, holds two different passports, each bearing one of his two names with different date of birth on each document, the fourth respondent rather holds one diplomatic passport and one ordinary passport only under his name Kwabena Asante. For avoidance of doubt, at no point in time has the fourth respondent been issued a passport under his name Victor Kusi Boateng. On the issue of double identity, Shraj conclusion, so from our investigations, and you two names be in two different passports, just one name.
I say we our court,
part be our court,
but on this identity, our court,
I would have to check. I know Sena Shraj and the ancient Yafina Shraj, Dieno Abba. Meaning said a criminal, if there is any criminal complaint, and I say process be a court. There are but Shraj investigations, they say there are no two passports bearing two separate names. And there is debate on conflict of interest, whether or not Victor Kusi Boateng, aka Kwabena Asante, put himself in a conflict of interest situation by being a member/director of the National Cathedral Board and at the same time a director of JNS Talent Center Limited. And also from page 141 to page 150 something. Just the conclusion no akan na chese on the issue of conflict of interest no na yehu said in ansana on procurement breaches the so no abba because also a very very important matter. Okay, into your say it is discernible from the foregoing provisions of law that unless otherwise provided by law, a company incorporated under Act 992, such as the National Cathedral of Ghana, is capable of entering into any transaction, including a loan transaction. There are no prohibitions in Act 992 prohibiting a company limited by guarantee from obtaining a loan facility from a member director of its board. Furthermore, the Act in contemplation of such fine line situations provides under section 1922A that where looking at all the surrounding circumstances, a director's dealing with a company is such that it cannot be reasonably questioned as giving rise to conflict of interest. Such a director has not infringed his or her duty to avoid conflict. Accordingly, the Commission is of the opinion that the facilitation by the fourth respondent of the interest-free short-term loan from fifth respondent for the benefit of the National Cathedral project cannot reasonably be regarded as giving rise to a conflict of interest situation. There was no conflict of interest, at least according to
no conflict of interest.
Yes. And then there is also the issue of procurement breaches, which I think are very, very important. And unya weinin subiomo summary of key findings ni nyina no ewo report ye emu. Let me see. Okay. In Osha on procurement breaches now. Or say under the summary of key findings, no, point number 5. The contract awarded to Ribade Company Limited for the construction of National Cathedral was in the sum of $312,394,049. 6. The contract was awarded by the Board of Trustees to the contractor without recourse to the concurrent approval by the Central Tender Review Committee, a key requirement of the Procurement Act having regard to the contract sum. 7. The National Cathedral of Ghana did not strictly comply with the rules of public procurement provided for under Act 663 as amended by Act 914 when it purported to select and award the contract for the construction of the National Cathedral to Redabe Limited. 8. The contract awarded Redabe Company Limited for the construction of the National Cathedral is illegal and void ab initio. See, I can void ab initio.
My best problem here. Mempenya vina oba show me o my education we are now continue one hour ya umra na me ka obiana. Me go kaze we dey ni nyina so bia na je me ka we o de chiri mu.
It's illegal and void ab initio. In the void ab initio just say it as if that the contract never existed from the get go no contract be 9. The procurement breaches that occasioned the award of the contract to Redabe Company Limited raised reasonable suspicion of corruption and corruption-related offences. It was saying, it raises your friend saying reasonable suspicion of corruption and corruption-related offences, and based on this, and a commissioner refer, and no, about corruption and corruption-related offences the organization that want the mandate to investigate the special prosecutor. In the commissioner refer said the directors of Redabe Limited special prosecutor investigate you na was say omo ye don't go before court for criminal prosecutions because I say illegal ain't a quite more fast so the award is our contract should be investigated.
So in Hokra, we assume that in
yes, the contract is illegal and void ab initio.
So let's go through the process. We'll be our best
Yes. Yes.
What is that per our loss?
Of course. Of course. It was say also go through. Yeah.
Nobody should come insulting Shraj.
Oh no.
Maybe.
Okay.
And then no assembly.
Okay.
Nobody should come. No Ghanaian. So I say should come insulting or going after Shraj.
Yes.
Yen TSC be more say institutions say
yes.
It's wow breaking Kanya was someone up a mayina and no mamiensa and wakan was
yes.
Now the more interest me a third one so it is because Claire will be from Senidino and then the credit say no kutadini ya call the passport ya call your passport and abako semina bibi enu etisa it didn't say yenya the papa he's been cleared of that meaning the court back on this matter. Number 2 busia or the firm Jumekuna one yinsi biano
or say there are no conflict, there is no conflict of interest.
When ya one fast so the contract Emma Jumekubino
say Omunkosi National Cathedral and as far say follow procurement laws in Yina.
I think this one will help in so many ways to settle a lot of things for all of us to move on.
On the issue of Professor Yawoka no ne idea ehia wo no. Okay, e kan wa ha say and you say offenses relating to procurement. Any in the Okoti, I think Okoti the Public Procurement Act. Section 92(1) or say any person who contravenes any provision of this act commit an offense, and I'm still reading from the Shraj report here, page 137. Any person who contravenes any provision of this act commit an offense and where no penalty has been provided for the offense, the person is liable on summary conviction to a fine not exceeding 1,000 penalty units or a term of imprisonment not exceeding 5 years or to both, emphasis added. On the 23rd of July 2024, this commission, in its ruling on the preliminary objection to its jurisdiction brought by the 3rd to 7th respondent, held that corruption could occur through violations of procurement rules. Although the commission has not found any element of corruption in this case, the extent of the breaches raises reasonable suspicion of corruption.
Of course, everyone the foundation says,
sure,
I'm going to go through the process.
Sure.
Sure. And my it seemed to be
a bit Also, consequently, the commission is making a referral of this case to the Office of the Special Prosecutor or the Attorney General for further investigations and prosecution of the Board of Trustees. TO for further investigation and prosecution of the Board of Trustees / members of the National Cathedral if necessary. The commission notes in particular that under Section 3A of the Office of Special Prosecutor Act 2017, Act 959, the office is mandated to A. Investigate and prosecute cases of alleged or suspected corruption and corruption-related offenses under the Public Procurement Act. This call for investigations and subsequent prosecution, if necessary, is directed at members of the Board of Trustees of the National Cathedral who were members as of 2021, and Dr. Paul Opoku-Mensah, Executive Director of the National Cathedral of Ghana, when the contract for the construction was awarded to Redabe Company Limited. The trustees include into your commissioner recommended say either Attorney General or say Special Prosecutor and investigate you if possible yen prosecute you mono. Chairperson of the Board of Trustees, Apostle Professor Opoku Nyina, Archbishop Charles Palmer Bakel, Metropolitan Catholic Archbishop Cape Coast, on their Vice Chairman, Most Reverend Bishop Justice Ofeya Kofi, Anglican Archbishop Emeritus Member, Right Reverend Professor Emmanuel Mate, former moderator of the Presbyterian Church, and also a member, Most Reverend T.K. Awatri Pratt, Presiding Bishop of the Methodist Church, member, Archbishop Nicholas Duncan Williams, Presiding Archbishop and General Overseer of Action Chapel International, member, Reverend Dr. Joyce Aye, Executive Director, Salt and Light Ministries, member. Bishop Dag Ewart Mills, Presiding Bishop, Lighthouse Group of Churches, member. Reverend Eastwood Anaba, founder and president of Eastwood Anaba Ministries, member. Reverend Victor Kusi Boateng, founder of Power Chapel Worldwide, member secretary. And a Reverend Dr. Frimpong Manso, general superintendent, Assemblies of God, member. Ain't on the issue of procurement breaches, no? And Kofua Shraj, I recommend this either OSP and as Attorney General investigating, and if possible, yen prosecute one for role mu play in awarding the contract to is it Radibi? No, Ribade Company Limited, no? ASR in Penyifui. The other question that arises, and it's based on the complaint I called before Shraj, you know, did Shraj also give Sankofo, yeah, because in the petition, no, their names were not specifically mentioned. You understand my point? The petition, no, it can be about board of trustees, no specific names were mentioned. If you are referring them to the office of the special prosecutor, you cannot refer board of trustees to office of the special prosecutor. You have to mention specific names. You've gone ahead to mention specific names. Did you give them hearing?
Baobi, Mami Musa, but
yes.
The names that are up, no,
yes,
is based on a certain timer.
Of course, of course. To 2021 timer now more contract. No? All of them were on the board. Yes.
Yeah, Kwabena Asante.
Yes. No, minka. Oh yeah, I get you. Also, we put a reference now. Why refer to?
But again,
yes.
Minim say na ehun hiampo say ombeto nsa from because
no, because if you are referring them in your report, good. You have to give them the opportunity to be heard. Yes, a natural justice principle. But why yes, sir? What it means, they say omo lawyers ever reportee at the court. We're not giving a fair hearing. A natural justice principle, yes. A natural justice principle. I don't know if Ebia Shraj Emma more opportunity to be heard. And Oman taking up the opportunity, I don't know. But let's see.
I'm sure they still have a lot of opportunities around.
Oh, there are so many opportunities. With a Shraj report, there are so many opportunities. You can challenge this in court. You can but I think yes, born a tough fan, and that is why maybe the summary of Shraj findings, no. Very, very important. Now, Obie who tougher born on my way there, Messer when
no problem.
Say Obama Messa Quine. Summary of key findings. 1. The National Cathedral of Ghana is a public property held in trust for the Republic of Ghana by the Ghana Museums and Monuments Board. Number 2. The Board of Trustees / Directors of the National Cathedral of Ghana are public officers. In the way a Board of Trustees, and according to Shraj, only a public officers. Number 3, government at the inception of the National Cathedral project made contradictory statements regarding the source of funding for the construction of the National Cathedral. Number 4, the Supreme Court did not rely on the Attorney General's assertions that no public funds would be used for the National Cathedral project in arriving at its decision in the case of James Kwabena Asante Jr. versus Attorney General. Number 5, the contract awarded to Ribade Company Limited for the construction of the National Cathedral was in the sum of $312+ million. Number 6, the contract was awarded by the Board of Trustees to the contractor without recourse to the concurrent approval by the Central Tender Review Committee, a key requirement of the Procurement Act having regard to the contract sum. Number 7, the National Cathedral of Ghana did not strictly comply with the rules of public procurement provided for under Act 663 as amended by Act 914 when it purported to select and award the contract for the construction of the National Cathedral to Ribade Limited. Number 8, the contract awarded Ribade Company Limited for the construction of the National Cathedral is illegal and void ab initio. Number 9, the procurement breaches that occasioned the award of the contract to Ribade raised reasonable suspicion of corruption and corruption-related offenses. Number 10, the Fit Respondent Company is a registered company with a sole object of talent and skills development training. Number 4, The fourth respondent, Victor Kwesi Boateng, aka Kwabena Asante, does not hold two different passports, each bearing one of his two names with different date of birth on each document. There is no Victor Kwesi Boateng in the passport database. The fourth respondent has rather been issued 4 ordinary passports, 3 of which have expired, and 1 diplomatic passport under his name Kwabena Asante with the same date of birth. Number 12, the fourth respondent as both director of the National Cathedral and the fifth respondent company did not put himself in a position where his personal interest conflicted or was likely to conflict with the performance of the functions of his office, as no transaction for the provision of services existed between the National Cathedral and the fifth respondent company. And also saying the 2.6 million Ghana is paid by the National Cathedral of Ghana to the fifth respondent was a refund of an interest-free short-term loan granted to the National Cathedral by the fifth respondent company at a time when it needed funds urgently to pay its contractors. And I think take out no NSA on the issue of double identity, double passport near no Shraj say edin ba ko the passport ni nyina at no point when you 2 different passport bearing 2 different names. Number 2, the issue of conflict of interest and a company or a National Cathedral director, or say a director of a company National Cathedral, but say there was no conflict of interest and at the answer. Number 3, and it's a Shraj find say the award of the contract to build the National Cathedral to Rebad, was illegal and void ab initio. I recommend the investigations and possible prosecution of directors and as a board of trustees members of the National Cathedral. And that's where we are now. Yeah.
Good job done by Shraj. Good job. Yeah. But you say we'll take it from here. Now if you made my lawyer friends in United,
yeah.
Or Kasa, I'm a Makoma told me, say,
okay.
Mammy few.
Okay.
So I've been issue. Or more person can say, Mammy few. We let me share see a crack a clever. So I brought from the bar and to a job. Only more see Mammy few, no more Sasha, say. And the main question is, because I will be boom. I'm a lawyer for Kasama, some brother, woman in Academy. Almost with the same skill, It will does it. It will be above my ab initio.
Void ab initio. Now the whole rank of Fakaka. Void ab initio. Jebacons on a Fakwe. You will be a canon.
Said that no shame about my name is Oba. Tells you the way you have a bit crab.
De minimis non correct less. And also what you say.
De minimis.
David. De minimis.
De minimis.
Non
correct
lex.
I just say when the man got try to see apart from corrupt it.
Egozi says to me. I asked him 94.7 FM. Mama yentie we emrest is here ba ye to ankomane so stay with us. And I mean can say a discussion segment no me ba me de be ma onya abotre. Yes. Yeah, discussion segment then ye benya Chale ho lawyer Chumbere Mabeba Atik Mohammed Beba and Honorable Ebenezer Nina Nate former MP of Lekuma Central yentie we emra ye ba ye to wedding come stay with us.